Welcome everyone. We will start our program in 5 minutes. So all participants kindly mute yourself during the speaker's presentation. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us. I would like to remind all the participants, please mute yourself during the speaker's presentation. Assalamualaikum, Prof. Can you hear me, Prof?
Yes, Anis. Okay.
Okay, can you share the slide? We see if
Okay.
it's works. Yeah, it's worked perfectly, Prof.
Okay.
All right. Okay, we will start our session now. Just a soft reminder to everyone, before we start our program, do remember that the attendance link will be given in the chat box 15 minutes before the program ends. It is crucial for your UTM ACAD merit and e-certificate. All participants are welcome to raise questions in the chat box. We will collect the questions from time to time. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Our program will begin shortly. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and greetings to our speaker of the day, Prof. Dr. Suhairul bin Hashim. Honorable ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, allow me introduce myself. I am Anishwada, your moderator for today's program. Welcome to the 9th postgraduate online structured course entitled Facing Your Viva, Voce, organized by Postgraduate Student Society, Faculty of Science, UTM. Without further delay, let me briefly introduce the background of our speaker. Prof. Dr. Suhairul Hashim is a professor in the Department of Physics, Faculty of Science, University Technology Malaysia, UTM Johor Bahru Johor. He was recently offered to play more senior role as the associate editor in Helion Journal, a scientific journal which is indexed in PubMed, Scopus, and Web of Science Emerging Sources Citation Index. He also won a prestigious award from the Academy of Sciences Malaysia as a top research scientist Malaysia in 2020. Besides, in the same year, he and his team has successfully securing a research grant from the Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation MOSTI entitled Grant Penyidikan and Kajian Keselamatan Berkaitan Produk Pengguna yang Mengandungi Bahan Radioaktif, with a total grant amount money of 294,000 ringgit. In this month, July 2021, he has been appointed as the Deputy Dean, Research, Innovation and Development, Faculty of Science, UTM. He obtained his Bachelor of Science in Nuclear Science from Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia, UKM in 2001, and Masters of Science in Medical Physics from University of Surrey, United Kingdom, 2005. In March 2009, he completed his PhD at the University Technology Malaysia, UTM. He has taught undergraduate subjects such as nuclear physics, radiotherapy, radiation detection and dosimetry, biophysics, and modern physics. In addition to teaching, 25 PhD students with 18 graduates, 13 master students with 12 graduates, and over 20 undergraduate research students were also supervised and co-supervised by him. To date, he published up to 137 papers in 111 international journals, 3 book chapters, 1 book, 1 encyclopedia of medical physics, 27 conference proceedings, international and national proceedings. Herein, please welcome Prof. Dr. Suhairul Hashim.
Right. So thank you, Ms. Chairperson Anis. Okay. All right. So it's a great honor to be here to share my experience with all of you. Okay. Alhamdulillah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good afternoon, everyone. Okay. So today I'm receiving an invitation from the Postgraduate Student Society of Faculty of Science. Okay. Regarding to sharing on top of Voce. Okay, right. So inshallah for today, I'm going to share my experience as an academician, okay, in a UTM and become the examiners, supervisors, okay, internal examiners and external examiners, and also my journey towards the achievement of my academics career. Okay, right. So thank you, Anis and PGSS Society. And this is, I believe this is a structured course by the graduates of UTM. Right. Okay, so is it moving, Anis, the slide? Okay.
Yes, doctor, it's moving.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. So just a quick introduction regarding myself. So I obtained my first degree in nuclear science in UKM, and then I further my studies in University of Surrey, UK, on the medical physics, and then returned back to UKM, and I obtained my PhD twinning program, University of Surrey plus UTM, and I obtained my PhD in 2009 actually. So there's a bit mistake here, right? Okay, so now I'm serving UTM since 2001. Okay, sorry, 2002, right? So till now I'm in physics department. All right, so a quick introduction, okay, regarding the switch. Okay, so I need to mention the roles of supervisors and the roles of students in a later presentation. Okay, so please bear with me, and you can ask any questions regarding the topic for today, right? So up to date, so I have supervised 12 graduated, 12 of my students graduated for PhD as a because I act as a main supervisors, and then the co-supervisors about 6 students. Okay, there is another of about 7 of them, and then master students about 10 already graduated. Okay, and the rest is undergraduate students. Right. So during this pandemic, so we believe that there is a decreasing of numbers of enrollment student in UTM, but we just move on. Okay, see the trend. It's not only affect Malaysia, but it's all over the world. All right. So regarding the examination of Viva Voce, okay, so I became internal exam for my PhD thesis. Okay, so 8 in MSc for internal examiners, and I also being invited to become the external examiners in for the 10 candidates. Okay, outside UTM, and 8 for master. All right. So based on this statistic, it's not much, okay, but it's worth to share with all of you, okay, regarding what is the expectation in the point of view of the examiners. Okay, right. Okay. So once upon a time, okay, this is my universities that I did my masters. If you think in this size, is after 10 years, okay, it's slightly bigger. Okay, right. Okay, right. So this is University of Surrey. So this is where I did all my project. Okay, it's not some of the facilities you are not allowed to take photos inside the lab. Okay, so that's why we need to take photos outside the lab. Okay, no cameras and so on. Okay, all right. So first of all, when we embark in this journey for your postgraduate journeys, master or PhD, so is it unclear, my voice, Anis?
It is
Hello?
clear to me, Prof.
Okay, all right. So there is no problem then. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So we should thank, okay, our supervisors, okay, former supervisors, undergraduate, master or PhD. So because you need to uh, uh, look after this relationship. I can so call this relationship. Okay, good relationship. So later on, what it means a good relationship between your supervisors. So I would like to acknowledge my former supervisors during undergraduate, Dr. Matsud, okay, Dr. Kevin in Surrey, okay, Dr. Wan Saridan, and my PhD student, okay, right. So Prof. David and Prof. Ahmad Termizi. Okay, so I would also to thank my former PhD students and master students. So as you can see, there is lots of students from various nationality. Okay, in my talk, I share with you what is the expectation. Okay, what is the challenges that I face dealing with this particular things. So my first student, okay, is from Palestine. Okay, Dr. Yasir. Okay, so this is my first baby. Okay, so later on I can tell you, okay, what's my challenges, okay, as a young lecturers supervising the international students. Okay, during the 2011, there is lots of PhD students or postgraduate students came in to UTM because we have the program high impact visit. Okay, high impact visit means we engage lots of lecturers from outside Malaysia, and we because we need to go for research universities. So this is the fastest route that the top management of UTM took in order to obtain or attract more students from outside Malaysia. Okay, so this is why the journey of research university came in UTM. Okay, so I also have a various Malaysian student and so on. Okay, so up to date, I have a 17 student, PhD students graduated under my supervision. Okay, right? And there is also the master student. Okay, it's about 12 master students under my supervision. All right. So this is why I need to stress in the beginning of my talk, okay? Because to become a good supervisor, you need to share your experience with your postgraduate student. All right. So as I mentioned in the early of my talk, I enroll my PhD in UTM. Okay, and I did uh, half of my studies in University of Surrey, UK. So it's like a research attachment every year. So I'm not sure during that time there is lots but there is no available currently, okay, in UTM. So uh, during my time, I am entitled to do research attachment 3 months a year in any research institution outside Malaysia. All right. So what I'm going to say in this slide is regarding my achievement. Okay, become the pro chancellor recipient. Okay, I'm not going to show off anything, but I'm going to motivate yourself. If you are early of your studies, postgraduate studies, first semester of still have time. Okay? But if you are already going to face your Viva Voce soon, so maybe this is not applicable. Okay, unless you are going to take another PhD degree, right? So I'm going to tell you the achievement of a Pro Chancellor Award. This is a award that being given during the graduation day, right? So there is a chancellor award and pro chancellor, and according to different category. And during that time, and I believe now the graduate school of UTM also provide the award ceremony to the best student award according to the faculty. And even the faculty also did the ceremony for their best student in that particular faculty as well. This is a way to motivate the students. Okay, right. So based on the achievement, right, I challenge myself. Okay, now I'm already achieved the Pro Chancellor Award. So I'm going to produce another Chancellor Award, at least Pro Chancellor Award, right? So this is my challenge, and I took the challenge seriously. I'm not a good student, not an excellent student, okay, but I did smart things. Okay, right. So sometimes we need to very smart rather than diligence and so on top of diligence. Okay, right. So this is my uh, medal that I received during the graduation day, right? The first one, the Pro Chancellor, and the second one is Best Chancellor, Best Student Award. So this is my, they're no longer here, right? So, and my siblings, okay, so on. All right. So as I mentioned before, my first PhD student is Dr. Yasir. Okay, so he enrolled in 2011, right? As my first PhD student. Okay, and to be honest with you, he cannot speak English very well in the beginning of his studies. So if you are telling me that you are having difficulties or lack of English proficiency, right? So this is not true. With this, okay, believe this, right? So Dr. Yasir actually he went to UTM and asked for the supervision of many lecturers, but none of them want willing to take him, okay, because he cannot speak English, because he's originally from Algeria. He speak French, okay, right, rather than English. So it's like chicken and duck, okay. We cannot communicate well, okay. But when I put in writing, he can explain as well. Okay, but when we speak, it's a different frequency, right? Okay, so I'm telling Yasir, okay, you please, I give you 3 months, take the special English course, improve yourself, and then come back to me. And he took the challenge. Okay, Alhamdulillah, he managed to produce 13 international paper impact factors. Okay, 13 scientific papers during his journey, 3 years journey with me. Okay, and based on that uh, awarded a Pro Chancellor Award. Same things. So this is I'm telling you, I try to prove myself that I also managed to produce the Pro Chancellor Award. So after that, this achievement, I again I challenge myself. This is international students. Okay, people may say, okay, this is a international student. Okay, so I challenge myself. How about the national student? Okay, local student. Okay, do they have the capability to achievement saying, okay, there is no excuse if you have a clear pictures what you're going to do. Okay, and Dr. Kalis, Alhamdulillah, he's my another PhD student. So he obtained his PhD and become the best student award as well, like Yasir. But he achieved more than Yasir and myself. He received the Chancellor Award, the highest award during the graduation. All right. So this is how I motivate myself. I challenge myself and my students. Okay. So please, if you have to start leave for clear pictures and go for it. Okay, strive for it. Okay, and my master student also achieved the same achievement, best student award. Right. So nowadays is very competitive if you are looking for that award. Okay, and it's going to have a really tight screening process. Okay, because there is a scoring level. So later on, after I discuss regarding our topic today, I'm going to show you how it being done for this. Uh, okay, so I move on. Okay, so I also encourage my students, okay, to participate in any conferences, training, and so on. And during the pandemic, okay, so we also organized the graduation, virtual graduation ceremony, and two of my PhD students got the Best Student Award and Dean Special Award uh, under Faculty of Science recently in 2021, okay, just before the MCO. Okay, so this is the next graduation will be on the so we try to the various occasion for the physical graduation ceremony, but we just see okay what's going to happen. Perhaps the COVID-19 cases will be decreased by that time. Okay, right. So I started early. Okay, always engage my final year project students. Okay, ask them to participate and become the best. Okay, right. So not only a postgraduate student. Right? Okay, so during your time, please participate during your PhD or master's journey. Okay, please participate in any seminar. Okay, because you need to gain confidence. Okay, talking in front of the people. Okay, so don't feel very isolated. Okay, less confidence when talking with international students, especially. Okay, most of the local students they have inferior. Okay, uh, among themselves. Okay, they are afraid to talk. Okay, actually you can did very well. Okay, right. So this is always to uh, go for any conferences, local or abroad. Okay, and this my student, PhD students got a sponsorship from Vietnam Academy of Science. Okay, to participate uh, in that seminar in Vietnam. Okay, for free. Okay, so this is also the achievement of my students. All right, so now we are going to the serious matter, okay, regarding the achievement. So the earlier is just an introduction regarding our topic for today, right? Uh, on this, your PhD or master journeys in UTM, right? So what we mean by advisor is the supervisors, okay, right? So normally most of you, okay, need to identify, okay, need to study the history of your supervisors. How does they look like? Okay, is it user? Is it friendly or is it tough? Okay, and so on. So you need to study. Okay, in order to manage your supervisor. Okay, I always encourage my students, okay, to have the similar topic or just continue the topic that I have a research grant. Okay, right. So some of the students, they came with their own topic. Okay, sometimes it's not related with the supervisor's interest. Okay, because sometimes they just apply to through graduate school and then they have been given the supervisors. Okay, but some of the smart students, they will identify the students first and send the proposal to them and get a stamp. Okay, to get supervisors that they wish for. Okay, and this is a good exercise actually, right? So so you need to develop or prepare your research proposal, because the one that you prepare during your admission to UTM maybe it's just for the sake of the official letter. Okay, all right. So because sometimes we need a hurry, so we just propose any topic, right? So once the students came to UTM, then we can talk regarding the serious matter, because some of the supervisors or replying to the email because they found out the email is too general. Okay, because the potential students, they just send any emails to any lecturers. Okay, so you need to address it clearly that you want to enroll under his supervision or her supervision, right? So within the 2 semesters, you need to prepare your proposal of first assessment, right? Right, and then you need to pass with your proposal, and then your after the assessment, you will notice that whether your proposal being accepted or not by the committee, academic committee members of certain faculties. Okay, then if you pass the first assessment, then you have a uh, clear plan. Okay, start the research, acquire the data, and throughout the journeys. And then finally, okay, you are going to submit your thesis for defense. Okay, present the findings during the Viva, and then we okay as a PhD or master's degree. All right. So basically, my talk for today will be based on this flowchart or cycle. All right. So later on, the committee will pass the plan out. Don't worry. Okay. Okay, all right. So I need to address or need to convey the message at early of my talk for today regarding the research student responsibilities and responsibilities. Okay, because if we notice our roles and responsibilities, we are going to work together, right? Okay, so some of the students, they just ignore, okay, to register the courses, okay, to make sure there is no outstanding fees. Okay, I understand some of you may have difficulties to pay your fees because UTM fees is quite high compared to other universities, but we need to bear in mind everything is comes with cost. Okay, right? So even engagement in my research board, I'm not paying them too much. Okay, for those who are entitled to pay, I'm paying them based on their performance. Okay, right. So because if you pay too much, okay, some of the students may not play their roles. Okay, and then give a headache to the researchers or supervisors. Okay, this is a true story. Okay, right. So that's why when the future students came to see me to do the postgraduate student under my supervision, I will ask them if they are fresh graduate. I'm telling them the postgraduate study is not for the jobless people. Okay, right? Because some of students want to postgraduate because they cannot secure the job. Okay, so the first intention is important, right? So if you have a clear intention, okay, that you want to do the research roles, research postgraduate studies, and so on, you must uh, uh, have a clear intention in doing that. Okay, so that's why I'm telling the postgraduate is not for the jobless people. So clear cut, right? And then if the students are already willing to do so, okay, now we can go pay the students based on their progress, based on their performance. Okay, make sure you study your research progress is tally with the research grant. Okay, because some of the grant is meant for 2 years or 3 years. Okay, right. So this is kind of a win-win situation. Okay, you get your postgraduate certificate, master or PhD, in order to help your supervisors to achieve the KPI, key performance of their right. So you must work together, right? So this is also important for the students, okay, to submit the progress report to supervisors using the GSMS system in UTM, right? And you need to submit or write any your progress report, okay? Because some of students, they took advantage. They're just reporting the same progress in every semester, just copy and paste, okay? Some of the supervisors, they will read this progress report. Okay, for those who by any agency, okay, you need to because the supervisors will give marks, certain marks to you in order to evaluate your performance on that particular semester, right? So you also need, as a student, you need to catch your supervisors, have a scheduled meeting, okay? Some of the supervisors, like myself, I just said, whenever you want to come to see me, just set appointment and we sit together and discuss, right? But some of the supervisors, they want a specific time, 2 weeks, every 2 weeks, every month, and so on, right? So you also need the students to talk about it, okay? In research universities, you need to produce the publication, okay? Don't saying that, oh, I'm helping my supervisors according to their KPI to produce the papers and so on. No, this is a win-win situation, okay? Based on the research grant, okay? You should have a professional relationship with your supervisors, okay? Make a plan for the research progress, okay? Comply all the rules set by postgraduate, and then practice a good research ethics. Okay, later on, I'm telling you what is okay. Some side they try to manipulate the data and so on. They are not coming to lab, but suddenly they came out with special results. Okay, right. So please bear in mind, you will be once you submitted your thesis, it's going to go for the checking, turn in, and so on. Right. So there is a few cases in UTM that we admit there is a high chances of plagiarism, and the students cannot secure or fail during the PhD journey. Right. Okay. So this is a so to as around supervisors, okay, provide guidance, okay, assist in conducting the field work, okay. Some of them just support in terms of money, okay, because there is a grant, okay. Supervisors also need to do lots of things, okay, right. So to ensure the students keep abreast with the development in the research field, okay. Right, so give advice on the deadline, okay, so this is clear, right? So make assessment and submit the progress report every semester. So the supervisor will evaluate. And there is a for them to make a comment, okay, regarding the students' performance. This is very crucial, okay, especially when there is a problem with when the supervisors fail the students, okay. All right, so if you got marks below 5 in 2 consecutive semester, the students will be terminated from their studies, okay. Right, so we need, as a supervisors, we also need to encourage the student to produce more publication, right? Okay, so then what else? The supervisor also need to propose the name of their potential examiners. And then they need to ensure the students inform all the universities regulation and matters, okay? And review, ensure the thesis have reached the certain standards before submitted to the graduate school for the examination purpose. All right, so most of us talking about graduate on top, but telling us the research project or postgraduate studies is about how you become the excellent researchers. Okay, we are not talking about time, but the time is matters for the sponsorship. Okay, right. So we need to accomplish the PhDs normally in a normal 3 to 4 years. Okay, right. So this slide is from the graduate school, right? So UTM graduate school. So we encourage, okay, to have the publication and so on, okay, during your research journey. So during the first year, I had students to participate in all the classes, university courses and research methodology courses, and then go for the research proposal defense on the third semesters. Okay, this is the ideal one. And then continue your journeys until you completed your PhD, right? So there is a requirement. Okay, right. So the proposal evaluation, okay, presentation, right. So some of the students, they have to send submission. Okay, actually, you don't have to wait until at the very last. Okay, because your notification of thesis submission must be brought to academic committee of each faculty, okay, in order to nominate or approve the potential examiners for your thesis. Okay, there is a process, and then after and the notice is valid up to 1 year, I think, right? So please check with your graduate school, right? So then after the academic committee approve, so your thesis will be sent to this, and you are going for Viva Voce. Okay, some of you may face the physical, some of you may face this virtually, right? So after Viva Voce, okay, we are going to give the verdict out of your Viva Voce, and then you need to resubmit your corrected version of your thesis, and then get approval from a Senate committee, and then you are entitled the doctorate title, okay, after uh, complete everything. Okay, you can use your doctorate title once you receive the Senate letter from UTM. All right, so don't worry. Okay, the slide will be given to you. Right. Okay, some of you okay, maybe ask for this one, right? There is no trademark for my presentation. Don't worry. Okay, right. So thesis writing versus thesis defense. Okay, right. So you cannot, uh, what I believe, okay, during my observation, most of the students can do the lab works very well, okay, simulation and so on, but they are not good in writing. Okay, they spend a lot of time in writing. Okay, uh, nowadays there is lots of seminar or conferences said you can write in 60 days, 30 days, so on. So you, okay, this is, some of people is very gifted in writing, and some of you maybe is very poor in preparing journal papers or manuscript and so on. Okay, never mind. But this is, once you are talking about PhDs, okay, you need to prepare your thesis writing, and then you need to be responsible regarding what have been written in your thesis during the thesis defense. Okay, you must well versed, okay, regarding whatever is being written in your thesis. You cannot say I don't know. Okay, ask me, so this is going to kill you during the Viva Voce. All right, so the Viva process, okay, this is the things, okay, all right, once you enter the call it the Viva room, okay, in the beginning of the session, okay, normally you will be asked, the candidate and the supervisor will be asked to go out from the Viva room, okay, because the chairperson need to discuss certain matters, okay, with the examiners, internal or external examiners. Then after they agree with the quality of the thesis, they will proceed. If they don't agree, there is a few cases, okay. If they think the quality of the PhD is not going to at the certain level, PhD level, they won't with position. Okay, right. So in that cases, that's it. Okay, no oral presentation being conducted. Right. So if both examiners and the chairperson saying that the quality of thesis is not up to the standard. Right. So if you manage to overcome the first hurdle, then you can go for the oral presentation, right? Right. So the oral presentation will continue for around minutes. Would always advise my students to have or to prepare the slides within 15 to 20 minutes. Okay. So the importance of oral presentation or the Viva Voce, okay, is to show the examiners that the candidate is ready to or the candidate is subject matter expert regarding the thesis. Okay, so you don't have to tell everything, every single sentences in your in slide, okay, line by line. It's not that things. My experience as examiners, I always admire or impress with the students or the master or PhD candidate that being able to summarize the thesis, their thesis uh, during the Viva Voce. Okay, if you keep repeating whatever being written, every single line in thesis, the examiner, you need to see the body language of your examiners. Okay, right. Some of them, if easy on is the message they are going to uh, deliver to you, right? Right. So then, after completed 15 to 20 minutes, some of the candidates spend up to 30 minutes, okay, telling everything, right? So this is not the purpose of your oral presentation. Okay, later on, I'm going to share with you uh, what's the what type of slide, the presentation slide that we wish to have from the candidate, right? So the assessment, page examination of your thesis. Okay, we are going to start with the general questions. Okay, to test the understanding of the candidate, right? And then we are going to go for deep or specific questions. Okay, page by page. Right. Some of you may telling us, okay, I only have a 1 hour's Viva. I'm having a 6 hours Viva. Okay, so they compare each other, right? So it's not a matter of how the how long assessment being conducted, but it's matter of how well the candidate can defend their thesis, right? And then based on the both the oral and assessment examination, the committee will again decide. Okay, we'll ask both the students, the candidate and the supervisors to go out from the Viva room and they will discuss. Okay, some the pre-judgment or pre-discussion during the Viva Voce may be changed at the end of the Viva Voce session. Okay, some may be upgraded from B2 to B1, or some may be downgraded. There is a cases from B1 goes to C. Okay, right? Because during the examination, okay, the examiners feel that the candidate is not up to the standards, okay, or is the thesis being written is not reflect by the performance of the candidate during the Viva Voce session, right? Then during the verdict, the candidate as well will become and the chairperson will announce the results of the Viva Voce. Okay, so this is the moment of truth, okay, during the Viva process in UTM, right? Okay, right. So I continue the slide. Okay, the purpose of the Viva Voce examination is to confirm that you understand what you have been written and can defend it verbally. Okay, that's why we need to have a Viva Voce session, right? So in Australia, you just your schedule for oral examination, right? In certain universities, not all Australian universities, in certain universities. But in UTM, you need to defend it. Okay. And then the second one is to investigate your awareness of where your original work sits in relation to the wider research field. Okay. right? So the examiners will ask the performance of the candidate during the session. Okay, right. So the third point is to why we need Viva Voce to the thesis officially standard to merit the award of the degree for which it is submitted. Okay, and then the finally to allow you to clarify and develop the written thesis in response to the examiner's questions. Okay, so this is also important, right? Because this is the purpose. Some of the supervisors may ask the candidate, their students, to write journal papers to help them to write the chapter 4, because the chapter 4 is the, what we call it, the core of his flag. What have been what is your contribution to the new knowledge? Okay, right. So this is why certain people or certain candidate, they can write the chapter 4 result and discussion is very fast if they have a publication, certain few numbers of publication. Okay, if you notice, some of your friends may have difficulties if they don't write anything in journals and so on. Okay, because in one is really challenging. Okay, right, especially for chapter 4. So believe me, I always encourage my students, okay, to prepare the manuscript, okay, many manuscript, and ask for the submission of to the certain journals, because during I'm going to relate this thing later on. Okay, when you're going to publish, you will go for the reviewing process. Reviewing process is like a pre-viva voce for you. Okay, but it's not an oral, it's like a verbal, it's a written reviewing process, written verbally. We ask, you need to reply with the polite way. Okay, so this is the process. So if the students is familiar with this kind of things before they came or sit for the Viva Voce examination, it's going to be really easy for them to perform during the Viva Voce, because he or she already have experience in doing so, even during the write up. Okay, right. Okay. Okay, so verbal examination. So this is a definition, all right? Verbal defense. Okay, it's already being mentioned. Okay, right. So verbal counterpart for your thesis. Okay, to demonstrate how you're going to present your research work in writing. Okay, so during the viva voce, the important is the ability of the candidate to actively participate academic session, okay, with the examiners, right? So bear in mind, normally the chairperson is not allowed to ask any questions, and your supervisors also cannot defend yourself unless it being invited by the examiners and the chairperson to doing so. Otherwise, you are alone. Okay, you have to defend everything on your own, right? Okay, so in reality, the Viva process, uh, the Viva is often described the defining motions. Okay, I'm talking most likely for PhD. Okay, but it's also applicable for your master by research as well, right? So it is the final assessment of the thesis. Okay, for certain research student and uh, the candidate of that particular degree, right? So it is certainly one of the few opportunities uh, for you will have to talk in depth about your thesis with people who are knowledgeable and interested in it. So let's come to this with the importance of choosing the right examiners. Okay, uh, you are eligible to talk with your supervisors to propose any potential examiners to examine your thesis. Okay, I always open to my students, okay, to propose the name, okay, during the nomination. Right. So the Viva Voce also is important because it's closure to your research. You have already been write your thesis. write meet for the examination, and then you need to defend it, okay, because it's going to close your case, okay, whether you pass or you fail. All right, so the examination committee, right, according to UTM standard, okay, I believe is applicable as well, because I believe some of you may come from other universities as well, right? So the internal examiners, okay, some of the universities, they ask for 2 internal examiners, okay. UTM is only applicable if the candidate, the PhD candidate is a UTM staff, okay. If they are a UTM staff, we need 2 internal examiners, okay. There are people, these internal examiners is the members of the academic staff of the universities. It can be from different faculties as well, okay. It's not necessarily from same department, same faculty, okay, but it's under the same umbrella in the universities, okay. It's not one of your supervisors, of course, right. Then you also need external examiners, okay. This is the people who the same level of the examiner from local office, okay. All right, so and for sure it's going to the academic committee will approve the people who expert in certain areas in that particular research areas, okay. Right, so what else? There is also the chair and co-chairperson during the Viva Voce session, because the chair will manage the session, your Viva Voce session, and the co-chair will write down being comments addressed by the examiners, both examiners, during your Viva Voce session, right? Okay. So in certain universities, okay, in USM, the supervisors need to write the report by themselves. But in UTM, we appoint the co-chair is from the young lecturers, okay, in that particular departments, okay. Okay. So this is related to my previous point. Okay, can you choose your examiners? Yes, you can, right? So you can choose your examiners, right? So candidate can, but ultimately your main or co-supervisors can ask, discuss, nominate the examiners to the PG committee, postgraduate committee, right? So when talking about possible external examiners, it's important to bear in mind that the examiner should have sufficient expertise of the subject area to be able to judge the quality of the thesis. Okay, should not be a recent or current collaborator. Okay. So this is ethically, okay, we need to comply with this thing, okay, because some of the supervisors, okay, sorry to say, they choose the easy examiners for his or her students, okay, because they don't want to uh, what we call it, they don't want to have a terrible moment for the candidate, and don't want to have many correction and so on. But ethics, okay, you need, I always want to advise to have a good examiners for my students, because some of in certain things I may mislook the quality of thesis or the analysis of my students in their thesis. So I need somebody who is uh, expert in that particular field, okay, to give cross check. All right, some of you asked just now, what is the criteria of the external examiners? Okay, right. So in this particular research assessment, okay, your postgraduate studies and so on, so you will cite the people, okay, you will cite the papers and so on. So of course you will cite the papers that related to your studies, okay. Some of the journals, they will provide the information, the corresponding authors and so on. So it's very easy, you just copy and paste, Google, and then I believe most of the good researchers, they will advertise or they will keep updating their website and so on with the current CV and so on, right? So sometimes the candidate need to propose this kind of examiners to their uh, supervisors, okay? Because some of the supervisors may not aware, okay, may not aware, all right, regarding the who is the prominent figures, right? So there's one question in chat box, okay, what happened if the supervisors provide the what you call it, killer it's not really. Some of the academician is have the academic pride, okay, they believe you need to achieve this certain standard, right? So it's not the matter of how difficult, how much correction you need to be done, because you must take in a positive side, okay? If somebody read your thesis and find out there is a scientific flaws in your thesis, okay, people the candidate, not only the students, the uh, but also call it, the examiners of the thesis, because there is a examiner's name, supervisor's name in your thesis as well. So people will uh, try to, what do you call it, to raise these issues, okay, if there is any flaws in your thesis, okay, right? So this is a very good point that I need to address, okay? So you need to discuss, okay, because if they think the student is very smart, very good, normally they will ask their rival in that particular area to become the examiners, okay? If some of the supervisors is just to play safe, they just sending their uh, uh, good colleague, okay, to become the examiners. It depends, okay? It depends on the supervisors, okay, and the students' discussion, okay? So what I'm here, you have roles, the candidate have a role to negotiate or to nominate with the supervisors, their supervisors, in case they want somebody, specific names to become their examiners, right? Should the examiners be professor level? Okay, right. So it's also good questions, okay? Some of the students, they may have, what do you call it? They may have the young lecturers become their supervisors, okay? Or inexperienced. But in UTM, in order to become the main or the co-supervisors, okay, they need the young and both stages, okay, few courses, okay, in order to become the main supervisors. So most of them already been competent because they already completed the module to become the main or co-supervisors during this process, okay. However, is I can say that is inexperienced staff, okay. So normally for the senior lecturers, don't have any title and so on, they can nominate, okay, in UTM rules, they need to nominate the associate professor and above to become the examiners, okay. However, uh, there is a certain cases that can be excluded, okay, if there is no other people, there is no subject matter expert in the areas, you can nominate the examiners that don't have the associate professor and above title, okay, not necessarily associate professor and above, okay. So you can nominate the senior lecturer as well, okay, right. But this must be agreed during the academic committee or postgraduate committee approval, okay. It need to be approved by this committee if they need to nominate someone else, okay. So I we need to propose 3 to 5 names, okay, uh, uh, to the committee members, right? Right. So there is a system in UTM, right? I believe the mutualism, yeah. All right. All right. So the internet examiners, okay, should be have a broad knowledge. Okay, in practice, the selection will also depend on the individual availability, history, and academic performance and workload. So this is also, the last point is also very important, right? So always or discuss with your supervisors. Okay, normally there is lots of people who's very busy. Okay, but very busy sometimes is they can also deliver the job in allocated time. Okay, don't worry. Okay, but normally the supervisors knows their potential examiners. Okay, they you within 1 to 3 months to read or to examine my student's thesis. Okay, if that examiner says yes, okay, uh, he can nominate. If he's ready, okay, maybe he need to refuse that. Okay, because ideally we want to see the process is within 1 to 3 months. Okay, it's completed. Once you submit your thesis within the 3 months, you already go for your Viva Voce. Okay, this is ideal or ideal recommendation. Okay, among the academic committee, right? So some of the people, they are not too busy, but they also cannot deliver on time. So this is habit of the people. Okay, right? So sometimes the clerk from a postgraduate office need to always ask when we are going to receive the report and so on. Right. So please, the candidate as well, you should also remind uh, your postgraduate office as well, ask for the status and so on. Okay, right. Okay, the environment of the Viva Voce. The candidate can do a great deal to influence the mood of the examiners through dress, body language, and general behavior. Okay, through dress means you must wear appropriate attire. Okay, nice attire, not too sexy and so on. Okay, right. So there is a guideline for, right? So use a body language and show good behavior. Okay, in certain cases, okay, there is also argument between the candidate and the examiners. Okay, later on I discuss regarding this thing. Right. So what should be bear in mind? The candidate needs to understand that he or she is seeking the acceptance of the examiners. Okay, seeking the acceptance means that you are not going to be defensive. Okay, don't that from the mouth of the examiners is everything is true. Okay, we need remember just now I'm telling about the academic discussion. Okay, academic discussion, right? So we need to discuss, right? And you are, of course, you need to uh, we need you need to impress the examiners that whatever you defense the thesis is being acceptable, right? So the candidate needs to execute confidence without arrogance. Okay, all right. You need to but don't arrogance. Okay, I have a few stories regarding the arrogance. Okay, okay. Later on, I'm saying, I'll share with you. It's extremely important that egos are not exposed. Okay, all right. Sorry to say, some of the students, okay, I believe this is due to the different culture, right? So we have international students. Okay, some of us maybe in Malaysia we are quite polite with the things. Okay, but in certain culture, maybe it's acceptable on that countries. Okay, but it's not acceptable in Malaysia. Okay, right. So this is a few things we need to clarify. Okay, we need to give and takes and so on. Right. Okay, so most Vivas take the form of a genuine discussion. Okay, because in the chat box just now there is certain things that being mentioned. Okay, some of the examiners ask the questions that out of the scope of your thesis. Okay, and this is the 1%. Okay, the chairperson in UTM normally chairperson of the Viva Voce normally is professor. Okay, because these professors, normally they're already well versed with this academic discussion, and he become a mediator to control the what you call it, the environment of the Viva Voce, so that everyone is pleased with the how the examination being conducted. Okay, right. So the chairperson need to take control. Okay, right. So how will your thesis being assessed? Okay, seems to be a new number. Okay. All right. So how will your thesis being assessed? Okay. The creation and interpretation of new knowledge through original research or other advanced scholarship or quality to satisfy peer review. Okay. Uh, a systematic acquisition to understand substantial body of knowledge. Okay. All right. So this is the thing. The general ability to conceptualize design. Okay. And a comprehensive understanding of technique to their own research or advanced scholarship. Okay, right. So this is the thing, how your thesis will be evaluated. Right. So I'm going to share with you, okay, my experience as the examiners. Okay, should you tailor your thesis to your examiners? Okay, normally you need to know who is your examiners during your before you enter the Viva Voce session. Okay, you need to do some preparation. Okay, right. So you need to study the background of your examiners. Okay, this is my tips. Okay, right. So your thesis should be written so that examined by much of your field of research. So clear cut, right? So in my previous slide, I'm telling you regarding the time frame from once you submitted your thesis until the Viva Voce examination. All right. So I always encourage my students to undergo the proofread of the thesis. Okay. Right. So sometimes if I have money from my research grant, I will give not all. I'm not spending all of my money. Okay. I just give half the cost to do the proofread of the thesis. Okay, it depends on the supervisor. Some cover all, some no, not cover at all. Okay, but the most important things I would like to inform all the PhD or master candidate: don't expect your supervisors to do the proofread of your thesis. Okay, don't ask them to check one by one every single line and so on. Okay, don't expect that. Some of them, some of the supervisors may do, but most of them are reluctant to do so because they have a lot to look after. Okay, right. Okay, so uh, when you submitted the good quality of thesis, that means after it goes for proofread and so on, okay, so uh, you will help or you will ease the burden of the examiners to read your thesis. It's like a storybook. If you read a good storytelling, good report, good thesis, the examiners will feel proud, have enthusiasm to read your contribution, research contribution. Okay, so they will flip page by page, understand everything. But if the thesis came with a poor quality, even page one already have a typo, the setting is not up to UTM template and so on. So you will give a bad impression to the examiners. So this thing will delay the process of providing the examiner's report. Okay, so this okay, this is right. So I will always advise my students, and I also advise you, encourage all of you to have the proofread service, okay, of your thesis, okay. But of course, with the consent of your supervisors, okay. Some of the supervisors may not agree with this approach, okay. But so far during my journey, okay, I'm going to be very pleased if my students have this kind of initiative, okay. To obtain the PhD or masters, you need best. what I'm telling to say, I'm trying to say here, okay, you have to invest some money in paraphrasing, in proofread your thesis. And then if it's come to good condition, then you will seek more clarification from your supervisors whether your thesis is already being up to the standards or not for the thesis examination. Right. So if you know well in advance who become your examiners, okay, you might want to ensure that any relevant research of theirs is referenced and that you with it. Right. So this is also important. Okay. You already knew that your examiners is the subject matter expert in your field. Okay. And of course, they become elected, appointed by examiners because of this history. Okay, so you need to find any related papers, any previous thesis of his his students, his or her students, and read. Okay, during the 1 to 3 months after you submit your thesis, this is the groundwork or the work that you need to. Okay, right. So you should not feel the need to do more than this. Okay, right. So this is your what you call it, this is your responsibilities. Okay, right. So please do this kind of homework. Okay, during that things. Okay, based on my experience, my examiners during my PhD is the Deputy Vice Chancellor of USM during that time. Okay, Prof. Shukri. Okay, during my examination, during my Viva Voce, came to the being thesis and my papers, my publication papers, and he just ask a question based on that particular matters. Okay, they want to test. He want to test whether is it really yourself that prepared the manuscript. Okay, right. So that's my things. Okay, my advice. All right. So key to success. Okay, there is lots of question in chat box. To finish talk as soon as possible. Okay, maybe another 15 minutes, something like that. Right. So you need to get to know your thesis. Okay, this is the homework, okay, that you need to do. Okay, step back from the detail. Prepare for a mock viva. Okay, in during my experience, I just a few series I make a mock viva during my supervision. Okay, what I'm telling to do, what I always do with my students is I ask them to come to my room before the viva session, prepare the slide and everything. I slide. Okay? I act as a examiners of uh, their presentation. Right. During the week or two leading to your viva session, you need to read through your thesis. Okay, 2 or 3 times or many times, up to you. Okay, you may notice a few errors. Okay, have not picked up before. Okay, of course, in terms of equation and so on, symbols. Okay, there is a certain scientific errors, maybe. Okay, the labeling of your graph, figures, and so on. Okay, to make a list. Okay, I always advise my students to bring the raw data with them in Excel or everything, because some of the examiners, they may ask this raw data if they see any problem in the trend of your results, thesis, and so on. Okay, right. So it's happened, right? So please bring your or prepare your raw data and your published paper and so on, okay, with you. Okay, think about a aspect of your thesis that you particularly like. Remember, when it comes to your thesis, you are the real expert in the room. Okay, right. So please bear in mind, once your supervisors already give his blessing or her blessing for you to submit the thesis, okay, it is an honor for you. Okay, it's an honor for you that you already achieve the minimum standard. Okay, but in certain cases, okay, some of the supervisors just allow the students to submit, okay, because the maximum duration of time, the final semester. If the students did not uh, submit the thesis within this time, okay, he or she her study will be terminated. Okay, so sometimes the supervisors in dilemma. Okay, uh, this is about the academic what you call it? Academic pride. Okay, uh, if he just allow the submissions happen, you will know that the students may not be passed during the examination. Okay, but it's going to give a bad reputation for them. So please bear in mind as well. Okay, please be responsible. Okay, to your supervisors as well, because you are not carry only your name, but your supervisors and co-supervisors name as well. Okay, there is a few series of failure. Okay, after the Viva Voce as well, because due to this problem as well. Okay, so even I have one student recently under my supervisions got C. Okay, C. He has many publication. Okay, 8 publication. Okay, in impact factor journals, but still during the Viva, he did not so well, and there is certain things being argued during the Viva Voce in terms of the clarity of the things and so on. So he need to submit. Uh, there is 2 cases you to submit thesis, and there is also the cases you need to resubmit your thesis and reviva. Okay, and during this time you have to pay. You have to pay for the Viva fees. Okay, for the resubmit you have to pay 2,000 ringgit. For resubmit and reviva you have to pay 2,500 ringgit. So this is a new rules being imparted by UTM, right? So please take it seriously. Okay, some of you may say, this is very simple things and pass in no failure and so on. So this is all the things. Okay, when we are studies abroad, okay, most of your lecturers studies abroad, we have uh, the feeling that that we need to study hard during the Viva Voce. Okay, but to be honest, when I came back to UTM, some of these things, there is no fear factors among the students, because about this thinking. Okay, they said everything is past. Okay, there is no longer anyone uh, PhD journey or master journeys. Okay, there is a failure as well. Okay, bear in mind this thing, right? Okay, so defending your thesis does not mean being defensive. Okay, so you must be actively participate during the Viva Voce uh, examination session. Okay, you cannot answer question effectively unless you have really listened to it. Okay, please, before the examiners ask the questions, okay, you need to listen. Okay, right. So if you are all uncertain about what is going to be asked or what examiners are really, then ask brief. Okay, you can use this point, but some of the students, okay, some of the candidate, based on my experience, every single question they ask to clarify. Okay, so this is something also not right. Okay, this is why I'm telling you is try to being not to being so defensive. Okay, right. So there is no need to jump in and answer as soon as the examiner stops speaking. Okay, right. So this is think first, speak second. Right. So sometimes you need time and a comfort zone the questions properly. Right. So you should try to give comprehensive answers, but try to ensure that you stick to the point. Okay. Don't try to divert or from the point of view. If you are not sure about it, okay, don't try to goreng or try to divert everything. Okay, just be honest. I don't know. Okay, but please don't be too defensive. Every questions, I don't know. Okay, all right. So this is the thing that I mentioned in the early stage. There is a prediction, or the examiners already come to the Viva room with their verdict. Okay, they may change their initial decision whether to downgrade the initial decision. Okay, if you keep telling them, I don't know, I'm not sure about it. Okay, and so on. So this is your comments. The question may strike you as a rather strange, okay, simplicity, you having answered in your thesis. However, it is not for you to judge the question. Your task is to respond as best as you can. Okay, this is my point. Okay, right. So other questions may highlight or focus that might be seen be particular weakness in the thesis. Don't let such questions throw you off balance. Okay, some of the examiners, I'm telling you, the killer examiners is quite ridiculous or aggressive. But chairperson normally will control the situation. Okay, it's not going to be if the chairperson look the situation is not uh, too conducive. Okay, they will ask for the break. Okay, this is the role of the role of the chairperson. Okay, if there is a seems like a fight during the Viva room. Okay, sometimes the war, I can say the war is involving the supervisors as well, right? So that's why in the beginning of my slide, I just mentioned supervisors only speak when being invited or give permission or being given a permission by the chairperson. Okay, right. So this is the ethics during the examination, Viva Voce examination, right? So uh, if you need time, okay, some of the students, if they keep being throwing by the series of is being bombarded by a series of questions, okay, they will become sometimes they can okay, so you should ask permission from the chairperson. Okay, I need a break. Okay, you can ask for it. Okay, because there is a we give a time frame. Okay, for the normal examination, Viva Voce is 3 hours. Okay, right. So yeah, through my experience, I have a the fastest one is 30 minutes. Okay, because we are not going to conduct the Viva Voce because the level, the PhD level is not up to the standard. Okay, so we just ourselves and okay, you need to reviva, resubmit and reviva. Okay, the longest hours during this visual, especially during the visual examination, I have recently uh, is from 9 a.m. till 6:30 p.m. Okay, right. So this is a true story. Okay, right. So this is a very long journey. We just have a break between 1 to 2. Okay, okay, because this is a war. Like I said before, once your supervisors keep involved in arguing or try to defend his or going to create a conflict. So this is the role of the chairperson to control the situation. Right. So it's not useful. Okay. Right. Okay. So the last point. Okay. Don't try to hide any limitation or potential weaknesses. Okay. You must admit that your PhD have certain limitation or the drawbacks. Okay. Don't try to hide it. Okay. Some experienced examiners, they may know well in this thing. Okay. Right. So just be honest. Okay. Don't try to hide anything from the examiners. Okay. Okay. Right. So I continue another, Anis, I have another 10 minutes, right? We
Yes,
try to,
Prof.
okay, because we try to stop by 3:30 and then we can discuss regarding the Q&A, yeah? Right.
All right, Prof.
Okay, all right. So the ideal timing for Viva Voce, I would advise maximum 20 minutes. Okay, right. So round one, normally the examiners will ask the questions about this and your understanding regarding the basic principle or the general principle of your research. Okay, not that, however, the question asked shall be relevant within the scope of the completed thesis. This is the thing. Round one means once you enter the Viva Voce after your presentation, okay, they will start the assessment. Okay, right. Round one means basic questions. Okay, just for warm up. Okay, normally the good examiners, they don't try to bombard every single questions. during this the time for the candidate to become comfortable and so on. Right. Then the round two. Okay, this is a page by page examination, right? To allow the examiners to ask specific questions pertaining their dissertation. In this round, the examiners will go from chapter by chapter until all questions have been answered by the candidate. Okay, in certain cases, they also need you to draw everything using the, what you call it, the whiteboard and so on during examination. So in round one as well, they may also, the examiners may also ask anything regarding your research. Okay, your presentation, I mean, your presentation just now. All right. So this is how the Viva process. Okay, so both examiners will take turn to ask question and seek clarification from the candidate regarding his work. Okay, right. Okay, so they will alternate the exam. The good examiners will play these roles. If the thing action and the uh, candidate cannot answer, the other examiners will ask the more easier questions and so on. They will well understood each other. Okay, right. So the chairman also needs to play the roles. Okay. So as I mentioned, supervisors are not allowed to speak, right? So however, the chairperson can give the permission. Right. So the post-viva report should mention the agreement of the examiners on the result based on the students' performance. Okay. Right. So preparation. Okay. So I think it's a very clear cut. Okay. Right. So avoid negative people on the days before the Viva. Okay. So I always advise my students get enough rest a day before. Okay. Don't read anything. Okay. Sleep early and come back fresh. Okay. And negative people means people who are going to make you annoyed and so on. Okay. Right. So I have a case. One of my students is put himself in a pressure, high pressure, and during the Viva, answer every single thing, even the simple questions. Okay, so I have this case, and he told me after the Viva session, I cannot sleep. Okay, I cannot sleep a day before, right? So there's also these cases. Okay, take it easy. Okay, and try to find positive people with you. Okay, slightly out later on. I'm going to share a few slides. Okay, right. So this is very clear cut. You can read it. Okay. Okay, mindset. Okay, you need to become the best, okay, for those who you are. Okay, questions. Okay, so this is the some of the questions are already being asked in the chat box as well. Okay, so this is kind of general question for round one. Okay, round one. Yes, I can. I will share the slide. Okay, don't worry. Okay, so this is already being explained before. Okay, the Viva topic. Okay, Viva topic also I already touched it a little bit. Okay, relates to issues concerning the research method. Okay, relates to issue concerning the field work. Okay, relate the issues concerning the research questions. So this is how the Viva or the questions are raised by the examiners. Okay. All right. So analysis, evidence, okay. There's also has explanation regarding the theory, okay, the value of the results, okay, and even with a good result, candidate needs to apply the creativity and so on. Okay, so why possible detailed Viva questions? Okay, so why did you undertake a doctorate? So same research questions, so on. Okay. uh, Possible detail questions. So this thing, this kind of thing, you after I share my slide, you can have a look on it. Okay. All right. So I need to address this thing: how to fail a Viva. Okay. Of course, we try to avoid these things. Okay. One word or irrelevant answers. Okay. Showing reluctance to engage in discussion. Okay. If you become too defensive or too offensive, okay, you are in this fall this under this category. Okay. Also, few things happen. showing disrespect to examiners. You try to raise your voice and so on, okay, and getting angry, okay, and then start to become defensive and so on, okay. And in certain cases, the candidate asks the examiners the questions, okay, right. So showing examiners what you do not know your work and confused, okay, you mislead the understanding of the examiners. And worst thing, worst come to worst, not understanding the examiners. All right. So in UTM, okay, you will have the accepted with distinction. Okay, it's happened. Okay, in UTM, there is no correction. Okay, B1 for 3 months correction. Okay, normally being checked by the supervisors. B2, the corrections is, needs major modification up to 6 months. Okay, and this is the thing I mentioned before. C1, you to need resubmit your thesis. And fifth outcomes is and can be up to 1 year and fail. Okay, this is a Viva outcome, your thesis. Okay, all right. So this is how you need to have a good relationship with your supervisors. Okay, until now I have a good relationship with my supervisors in terms of research and so on. Okay, right. To make relationship work. Okay, all right. So this is the thing you can read on your own. Okay, always voice infatuation. Okay, I need to address this thing. Don't MIA, missing in action. Okay, even my students, when they're going for holiday and so on, they need to write a letter for me. Okay, ask for my approval to take a leave and so on. Okay, don't mix business and personal issues. Okay, don't hide, ignore, gossiping, belittle, bypass your supervisors. Okay, I believe some of the candidate students and so on, they talk bad things about the supervisor and so on. So this is okay because we need to create the harmony situation between supervisors and the students. Also, same goes to the supervisors. Okay, they need to take always advise their students and don't say bad things about the students. Always encourage them to give motivation to move on and so on. Right? Okay, so last but not least, I give me a little, okay, post Viva. Okay, give me another 5 minutes. All right, so after Viva, after you get the verdict and so on, so this is how come the uh, award. Okay, I need to address this thing as well. Okay, there is a notification if you are eligible to apply for the graduate award management system. Okay, you need to notify the students. You need to notify your supervisors to verify the details inside their emails and so on, the SMS system. Okay, right. So for these particular things, your supervisors need to verify whatever you insert in the graduate award management system being verified by your supervisors. Okay, you on. Okay, and then everything is verified, then you will be shortlisted for the award system during your graduation. Okay, so this is the thing during my PhD journey. Okay, and I will always advise my students to become the reviewer of the journals. Even you are not obtain your PhD, but if you are good in publishing, you will be nominated by certain journal to become the reviewer. So this is a good things that you need to mention. Okay, please go to Researcher Academy. You can find lots of information regarding the publishing and so on. This is free. And then you will the certificate, international certificate by Elsevier. It's free and you can upload in your progress report every semester. Okay, right. Okay, so I need to hold on. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Give me a few minutes, Anis. I need to share the slide for Done. Okay. Okay, I need to share the slide. Spin. It's not coming through. Can you see the slide now?
Yes, we can see it, Prof.
Okay, right. This is the thing, the example of the slide for presentation during the Viva Voce. Okay, just prepare around 15 to 20 slide only. Okay, so this is the thing my previous students prepare after get my approval and so on. So you just need to address what is the objective, problem statement, method, and results. Okay, this is the thing. What is the objective? Okay, make it very clear. Don't make too much sentences on it. Okay, that's the objective. And okay, this is the most important point I need to mention to you. Okay, okay. So I always advise all of you, okay, to have these particular things. Simple diagram. Uh, you need to take this opportunity to convey the message to the examiners. This is my contribution of the project. Okay, right. We're not going to long sentences and so on. Try to make point by point like this, and this is why we call it. You are going to become a subject matter expert. Okay, and this is the methodology. How did you do your experiment? It's a very simple way to make the layman. Just treat the examiners as a layman. Okay, right. So just certain everything, mention everything, and then your methodology. How did you do it? Okay, what is your objective? What have been achieved? Okay, this is the thing. Why? Okay, and don't put every results, the, the significant results during your presentation. Okay, and this is the things very simple. Okay, and how just address certain things. Okay, just a clear pictures, how you present your graph, everything. Okay, there is lots of template nowadays available. Okay, for free, or you also can purchase. Okay, try to impress the examiners by giving the extraordinary performance. Okay, so this is the results. Okay, you don't have to put everything. Okay, because the details results is being written in your thesis. Okay, so what the objective being accepted or not? Okay, you just mention a little bit what you call it, diagram and so on, but make sure every single things here, no spelling mistake, no typo, and so on. Okay, those mapping. Okay, and then last but not least, if you have a list of publication, please put at the very last of your presentation. Okay, so this is going sometime to save you lot, okay, right? Okay, so this is my advice, and I think I need to stop the presentation today so we can go for Q&A session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Dr. Suhairul, for the informative sharing to session. These tips given, the tips given indeed are very useful to help us in preparing for the Viva Voce session. So now we have arrived to the question session. To all participants, you might type your question in the chat box or directly ask by unmute your audio. Okay, we have a question from Abdul Wahab. Assalamualaikum warahmatullah, Prof. Many thanks for the seminar. How much prior time in days the student know the external examiner before Viva?
Hold on. Can you repeat the questions, Anis? You are
Um,
reading from the chat box, right?
yes, true, Prof. It's from
Okay.
Abdul Wahab. How much prior time in days the student know the external examiner before Viva?
1 to 3 months. Normally, that's why in the
Okay,
beginning of my talk just now, okay, I'm telling you, you need to always uh, discuss with your supervisors. Normally, the email will go through the supervisors, and please remind your supervisors to nominate in the system. Okay, because some of supervisors they mislook these particular things. They're not nominating the examiners in the system. Okay, uh, so this also happen in the
Assalamu alaikum,
cases.
Prof. Can I talk for a minute, Prof, if you permit me?
Yes, yes, please.
Prof, actually, this question was asked by me. Thanks for the very valuable seminar, Prof. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
my supervisor was changed, so till I have submitted my thesis. Till now, I don't know who is my external supervisor. That's why I asked this question.
How long you have been sending your thesis?
It is now approximately 1 month, Prof. 9th of July, I
What?
submitted.
Okay,
Yes.
so 9th of July. So I ask your grade. Okay, are you from Faculty of
Yes.
Science or
I'm from
different
Faculty of
faculty?
Engineering, Civil
Wow.
Engineering, SK, School of Civil Engineering.
Civil engineering. All right. So some of the school during the MCO, they are not responding well. Okay, I'm afraid in certain cases, even you already submitted, but the thesis
Yes.
still not sending to the examiners. So it's happened.
Yes.
All right. So and some of the supervisors they may not notice certain examiners already being retired at certain institution. It's happened.
Okay.
Okay. And suddenly after
Yes.
waiting 1 to 3 months, suddenly we just noticed is retired and your thesis being sent to the institution without any recipient. Okay, right.
Okay.
So that's why please ask the clerk in a graduate school uh, regarding your concern. Okay, so you should get the status. Okay, the
Okay.
ideal time is 1 to 3 months. You should know. Okay, right.
Okay. Okay. Many thanks, Prof.
Thank you.
Jazakallah khair.
All right.
Okay, we move on to the next question by Haris Ashraf Hassan. Hi, Prof. Have you encountered any moment where the students, supervisors wrongly pick the examiners in which the examiners are not really the experts in the particular field?
Right. Okay. So it's happened, right? So this is the kind of thing I mentioned just now. Okay. Uh, Previously, there is lots of these cases. Okay, because some of supervisors they just pick up certain people to become the examiners. Okay, so they sometimes they want to play safe. They want to save the students experience or different background of the examiners and so on. Okay, but uh, nowadays I would like to congratulate the improvement that being made by UTM. Okay, I think there is a very minor cases happen nowadays that the because we already have the selected committee to approve the examiners. Those who are not performing well, uh, that not give a good report, there's a delay in reporting and so on, they will be blacklisted by UTM, okay, and the academic committee. So you will no longer get that particular examiners anymore. Okay, so I think this is happened before, but no longer happen today. Okay, so there is a because as a research universities, we need to preserve our academic integrity and so on. Okay, we cannot simply approve not be expert in that particular area to become the examiners. Okay, so I hope this clarify the questions by uh, by you, right? Okay, any other questions?
Okay, we move on to the next question by Mariam Safia. Can we propose examiners from journals that we refer to?
Okay, all right. So in UTM, okay, I'm not sure about in UTM whether you can allow the what you call it, the international during the virtual what you call it, during the virtual Viva Voce, maybe it's permissible to have somebody uh, from abroad to become the examiners. Okay, but in UPM, for PhD level, they need to appoint the examiners, the external examiners from overseas to become. This is in UPM, but in UTM, we still can ask. Because regarding your questions just now, normally the good researchers that have a high impact publication and so on, normally from overseas. Okay, so we can nominate them. Okay, but your nomination, 3 to 5 names that being nominated by yourself, by the students and by the supervisors, will be approved by the academic committee for each faculty. Okay, they will. That's why we need 1 to 3 months for you to process this kind of things. Okay, so we will during the discussion we will go all the information, see whether this is the potential examiners nomination, is it really applicable to the field of studies by the candidate. Okay, they will have a certain process. Okay, and of course, back to your questions, is we should encourage this kind of things. Okay, we need to somebody that can give the academic comments to improve the quality of UTM thesis. Okay, right. Thank you.
Okay, we
Yes,
move on
Assalamu.
to the yes.
Can I
Is
ask
there any
question,
question?
please?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay. Prof, as you mentioned, one of your student published 10 paper, but he didn't well in Viva. I didn't understand this
Okay.
point. It is
All right.
if he published 10 paper, it's mean
Not
that
10,
he have
6. Yeah.
very big 6 that he have very big experience and very details information about his thesis, but how
Mm-hmm.
he fail in the Viva.
All right. It's not. I need to correct. It's not fail. It's need to resubmit. Okay. Fail is under different category just now. So back to your question. So I should stress at this moment. Okay. Even you manage to publish lots of journal papers in high impact publication Q1 or Q2, it's not a ticket for you to pass your examination. Okay. I need to clarify this thing. It's not a ticket that uh, give you a special treatment during the Viva. Okay, because papers and thesis is different things. Papers is a group of work. Or master thesis is your own work. Okay, so it can be, okay, for the papers, it can be the group effort. Okay, maybe you just even you become the first author and so on, maybe you did the work, okay, but the papers being written and being all the comments by reviewer being addressed by your group of authors in that paper. Okay, that's why university need the candidate to defend their thesis. Okay, uh, that's why in UTM we ask the candidate to defend their thesis. Okay, because this is the show day for you. Okay, you need to please the examiners that you know everything being written in your thesis is on your own, A to Z. You must responsible to everything. In my student's case, okay, even he got lots of things, lots of publication, but during the Viva Voce, when round 1 and round 2 start from round 1, he cannot well general questions. So it's happened many things because my previous students, he has a financial difficulties and so on. He need to go back to his country, take lots of work, need to do carry a job to gain some money and come back to UTM. So there is a gap, about 3 semesters. He suspend his thesis, his studies for 3 semesters. So maybe it's already forgot whatever he did. So this is contribute to his performance during the Viva Voce. Okay, so you must be well during the Viva Voce because your results, your performance on that Viva Voce day may be downgraded or upgraded. Okay, there is a already have a verdict once you enter the Viva Voce. Okay, but that verdict can be changed at after your assessment being done. Okay, right.
Oh,
So
okay,
again,
yes,
I
I
would
see.
like to conclude. It's not a ticket. Yeah, right. Okay,
Okay. Yes, okay.
it's very good questions. Yeah.
In the PowerPoint, it is good
Yes.
to put my published paper at the end of my presentation. Just mention.
Mm-hmm.
It is
Yes.
good for me.
Yes,
Mhm.
it's good. It's good at the end of your presentation. Okay, just to show that
Uh,
you, because the paper means you have contribute to the knowledge regarding your. It's my. I always encourage my student to put it. Okay, because some of candidate they not publish their work. It's hard for them to convince the examiners. So this is a, I can say it's a, like a solution, option for the examiners to see your contribution to the knowledge, right? Okay.
yes, thank you, Prof.
All right.
Thank you, Prof, for the answer. We shall move to the next question by Yi Xiu Ching. If we found the supervisor is not keen with all the topic we propose on any reason, could we appeal to change the supervisor?
Right. Okay. Very good questions. Okay. All right. So I, I hope he's in UTM, right? So it's different story in different universities. Okay. So I'm talking his questions based on the UTM situation, right? So it is always not advisable to change supervisors. Okay. But if custom is right. Okay, always freedom to my students. Even in my case, there is lots of students change from my supervision to other supervisors. It's happened, right? But it's you need to get a request for the official request, okay, to change the supervisors. There is a special form you need to fill in and everything, right? So in that case, why the supervisors reluctant to take your ideas and so on? Okay, first thing first, maybe it's not under his expertise. The secondly, maybe it's not related to his current research work. Okay, because most of the supervisors nowadays run supervisor roles uh, in relation with the current active grant that they have. Okay, because as you know, nowadays the supervisors need, the research lecturers needs to do lots of things. So if some students they propose is very bombastic ideas and needs lots of commitment, lab work, money, and so on. So sometimes the money matters. Okay, so if you don't have the supervisors not have how come the students to do the analysis and so on. Okay, right. So this is previously there is no charges to do the characterization in PPMU and so on. Okay, but nowadays everything is 300, 400 ringgit, 500 ringgit. So sometimes the supervisor also not don't want to ask the students to carry out lots of characterization works, analysis that needs money. Okay, because it's not, we are not going to burden you. Okay, both parties. Okay, so this is the things. But in case you're facing these difficulties, you need to move on. okay, you have the right to change the supervisors. Okay, please do so. Okay, please do in the early stage, not at a later stage. Okay, because everything money matters. Okay, right. So that's my advice.
We will have a few questions more. So,
Okay.
from Afandi Yusuf, Assalam Prof. For my case, I'm using several theories and quite a number of models in my chapter 2. From your expert review, how should I summarize all discussion on literature review within 5 to 10 minutes during the Viva?
Okay. All right. It's very good questions. Okay. All right. So, okay. My advice during my experience become the examiners, the literature review topic is the worst thing formed by the candidates. Okay. Especially the candidate will just read everything on the slide when talking about literature review. So the best thing, okay, like I showed just now, okay, you just put one figures regarding the problem statement. I can say that this is problem statement. Literature review normally relate to the problem statement. Okay, what is the problems being involved in your research, and then what is thing every, because normally we conduct this kind of research, okay, based on what's happening really happened. Okay, some of us just mimic the the research being conducted few years ago. Okay, some research already being conducted maybe 20 years ago. Nobody used that approach. Then you need to validate. Okay, then you do it. Okay, and regarding the questions about the model, the the theoreticals behind it, okay, you don't have to address every single things. Okay, I would advise you to take the best approach. Okay, just highlight the most dominant theory, the most dominant simulation that related to your work. Okay, because you only have 15 to 20 minutes to address everything. Okay, just take few minutes to address this thing, and then the rest of it will be conducted during the round two, the specific questions regarding page by page, chapter by chapter examination. Okay, so don't waste your time mentioning this. I can say some examiners don't like this word regarding the chapter two. Okay, right? Because it's the most boring things I can say. Okay, if the most boring thing, if the candidate just read, the most entertaining part, if the examiners impress with the level of knowledge by the candidates. Okay, right. So take this opportunity to impress the examiners. Okay, whatever being written in thesis, let it go in specific questions. 15 to 30 minutes time, try to show your capabilities, become subject matter experts, and you deserve to get the PhDs. Okay, this is my advice.
Okay, Prof, we will move to the next question by Mariam Safia. Assalam, Prof, what is your suggestion if we can't answer the question?
Can't answer the question. Okay, I think I already addressed this thing. Okay, you can say, honestly say, kindly say, I don't know. Okay,
Okay,
you can rephrase to the
next
best of
question.
my knowledge. I cannot answer. Right? Okay, right. So just be honest. Don't try to divert. So on. Okay, right. So you may trap yourself in the deep problem later. Okay, right. So just but don't answer every single question. I don't know. So it's going to make you fail during the Viva Voce. Okay, right.
All right. So the next question is by Mala Gunasegaran. Online Viva is seem to be a new norm now compared to the face-to-face norm, face-to-face form. What are the hurdles faced by candidates in online Viva?
Okay, all right. So it's very good questions. Yeah. from Mala. Right. So this has happened to me as well as the examiners. Okay. Some is frustrated, sometimes during the Viva. It's not only for candidate, it's stressful for the examiners as well, because we need to read the thesis or the soft copy. At my age, it's really terrible to look at the scene, okay, and correct every single thing. I like conventional people like to do in the thesis form, hard copy form. It's much easier. Then we can flip, ask the questions. Right. So regarding your questions, okay, first things first, you must make sure you have a good internet connection. Okay, because if you don't have a good internet connection, then suddenly it's a lag and so on. Okay, you cannot share your slide, everything. Okay, uh, it will influence, affect your performance during Viva. Okay, okay, so that's why in UTM, especially in Faculty of Science, we will conduct a test run a day before or 2 days before, uh, to allow the students, examiners to test their internet connection line. Okay, there is a case recently. The students have a problem to get internet connection. The Faculty of Science will dedicate one room with the technical uh, assistance in T02, T05, okay, to make sure the Viva Voce sessions going smooth. Okay, so please talk to your faculty, okay, and arrange for this if you have difficulties in internet connection, right? Okay, so this is my advice. Okay, so make sure you are well versed with the share button, where to share, where to make a screen bigger, and so on. Okay, so you must well versed, make what you call it, the mock Viva among yourself, virtual. We also have to do the Viva using a WebEx and so on. Okay, a day or two days before your Viva Boche. Okay, this is my advice during the virtual presentation. Okay, right. Next,
Okay, Prof.
please.
Next
Yeah.
question is from Afandi Yusuf. Assalamualaikum, Prof. From your expert review, usually what are the most frequently asked questions by the panels during Viva?
Okay, most questions. Okay, so I think it's everything in the slide. Okay, so maybe you can go through my slide that I'm going to share. There is a general questions for round one. What is expected being asked during the round one? And then for the round two, it's more specific, chapter to chapter. Will ask regarding the theoretical behind it and methodology. What is so special about your methodology compared with other methodology? Okay. I would also like to address these particular things when I go through the thesis examination. Okay, for literature review, you need to address all the related theories or approaches made by any other researchers. Okay, you cannot simply narrow down to your concern. Okay, there is lots of candidate make the things. Okay, right. So you need to make it broad, narrow it down to the methodology. You just choose the method from the chapter 2 that more broader to the more specific in the chapter 3. Okay, right. So this is the things that you need to address during your Viva Voce. Okay, because sometimes chapter 2 is too much things to be written. Okay, and I also need to address these particular things. Okay, uh, you need the candidate need to check their thickness of the thesis. Okay, sometimes the literature review is more thicker or more longer than the chapter 4, the results and discussion. Okay, right. So because chapter 2 you quality or any other researcher's achievement. Okay, of course you need to make critical comments and so on, but some of the candidate, I must say honestly, they just copy and paste, okay, from other papers, especially from review papers. It's very easy to do literature review, you just find the review papers from any journals and put everything in your literature review. I have faced this kind of things. Okay, there is no shortcut. Okay, you can refer to the review papers, but you need to understand, okay, what's being told in the review papers. If you really get the examiners that very well versed in that particular things, okay, you need to be sure your level of understanding is up to the standard, right? So the rest you should refer to my slide, yeah, that I'm going to share. Okay.
Okay, Prof, we have another two questions. So the first one
Okay,
is
please.
from Sharil bin Saleh. Assalamualaikum, Prof. Some graduates say one of the most popular question is about the novelty. Even some examiners Google the research to make sure the novelty of the research. Can you advise us in preparing how we can answer the novelty question with confidence?
Right. Okay. So very good question from Shariel. Okay. So when we're talking about novelty, okay, we are the developing countries. Okay. To be honest, okay, I must say that as an examiners, I won't ask such questions. Okay, because we know the amount of money that being allocated by our Malaysian government is totally very so when we're talking about novelties, Nobel laureate, and so on, we need huge funding from government. So I must rephrase the word novelty to your contribution. So if you go through my slide, I never said about novelty. I must say that about your contribution to the new knowledge. Okay, yeah. So I must say that you must try to highlight your contribution to the new knowledge. Okay, right. So it depends on your level of your subject matter. Okay, regarding your field of studies. Okay, you try to give few example. Okay, what to the problems. So when we're talking about research questions, there is your research must address what is the research question in the beginning of your studies, the problem statement. Okay, have you been able to address it? Okay, so that's why in my student slide just now, I put when talking about chapter 4, okay, the slide said what is the objective of the studies, what have you achieved. So your achievement must be well highlighted. That is have a correlation with the objective that being proposed, because the objective is correlate with your research questions or problem statement. Okay, so try to have this scenario during your presentation. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Prof. We move to the last question today by Haris Ashraf Hassan. Prof, during Viva Voce, can we take 1 or 2 minutes to share our personal experience in the postgraduate journey, then continue with the defense?
Okay, all right. So you can talk that during your meal session, okay, during the break. Okay, right. Because if you go through my thesis just now, sometimes the warm-up questions is related to your question just now. You can highlight your achievement during your PhD journey. Okay, because some of the examiners, they just want to make you comfortable with easy questions. Okay, why you pursue your studies, what are you doing, are you friends or some other agency or institution, right? So you during these general questions, you can answer or relate with your achievement, but not during your presentation, 15 to 20 minutes, because sometimes you will get the strong character of chairperson. Okay, they will stop you immediately after because he will say during the early session, you are being provided 15 to 20 minutes to address or to present your research work. So if you have too much time talking unnecessary thing and then talking lots of things on your what do you call it, literature review and so on, you will miss the biggest moment, the most important things regarding your research and your contribution to the knowledge. Okay, because he will suddenly stop you. I already give
Okay.
you 15 to 30 minutes. That's
Th-
it. Okay,
Um,
right.
thank you.
Okay, right.
Okay. Thank you, Prof,
Mhm.
for the answer and explanation.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our program. For 2 hours, we have succeeded in dominating time with valuable and beneficial session. Once again, thank you very much, Prof. Dr. Suhairul, for the remarkable session. To all the participants, please stay with us for the photo session. I would like to invite everyone to turn on your video and have a group photo together.
Anis, how we can find the slide of this workshop?
Baik, Prof. Terbaik.
By email or how?
Yes.
The committee will share.
We will email the slides later after the program. Okay. Okay. Is everyone ready? So I'm going to take the photo now. Okay. 1, 2, and smile for the camera. Hold on. Okay, we're gonna have another photo. So 1, 2, and smile. Okay. Thank you to all participants for joining us today. Not to forget, please register your attendance using the link provided in the chat box to get Student Acad Merit and e-certificate. Hope to see you again at our next postgraduate structure course entitled Strategies to Write a Review Paper that will be conducted this month on 26 August 2021. Stay tuned for more updates in our official Facebook and Instagram UTM PGSSFS. Assalamualaikum and have a nice day ahead, everyone. Thank you so much, Prof,
Walaikum salam.
for
All right.
today.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you
everyone,
so
and
much,
all the
Prof.
best to you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, Prof.
All right. Okay. Bye.
Thanks, Prof.
Thank you,
All right.
bro.
All right.
Thank you,
Thank you very
Prof.
much, Prof.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Prof.
Thank you, Prof,
Welcome.
for your time. I love you
All
too.
right. Okay.
Terima kasih, Prof.
Thank you so much, Prof.
Thanks, Prof.